Let's now shift our focus to the Russia-Ukraine war, where Russia has further intensified its push in eastern Ukraine. Authorities in Kharkiv region have reportedly ordered families with children in 40 settlements in the Kupiansk district to expand mandatory evacuations as the Russian forces press forward. Russian forces have reportedly seized a village in Kupiansk district and are moving further towards a nearby village, part of a string of gains that mirror the recent advances in Donetsk and Zaporizhia. In Donetsk, Russian troops claim control of the settlement of Baragan, and they say that they have pushed into the eastern sector of Dimitrov. Ukraine claims it repelled nearly 100 separate attacks across multiple frontline sectors and describes heavy fighting in roughly 190 engagements along the front line. Russia's defense ministry saying its forces conducted strikes on 138 Ukrainian military targets, including transport and fuel energy infrastructure and rocket artillery warehouses. In addition, Russia claimed its air defense systems intercepted and destroyed 195 drones, 6 HIMARS rockets, and 10 guided aerial bombs. Ukraine's Air Force, missile troops, artillery reportedly struck 7 Russian personnel and equipment concentrations, as well as 3 command posts.
Ось переключається дальність. Бачите?
Meanwhile, in Brussels, NATO defense ministers have gathered to try and streamline how their forces respond to Russian incursions into the airspace. The alliance is moving towards unified engagement rules that would simplify the decisions to intercept or shoot down Russian aircraft, violating their airspace. A change meant to tighten coordination along NATO's eastern flank. Germany and France have signed an agreement to implement a satellite early warning system, which is aimed at improving missile launch detection and shrinking the time between alert and action. Prior to the meeting, the NATO chief said that the military alliance and the European Union are working together to set up a drone wall to protect member countries from possible drone incursions, while the U.S. Defense Secretary has reiterated that the U.S. will impose costs on Russia if the war does not end. In Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump voiced frustration with his Russian counterpart, saying that he had once enjoyed a good rapport with Vladimir Putin and that he cannot understand why the Kremlin persists in a war that has proved costly for Russia. Listen to this.
Look, I'm very disappointed because Vladimir and I had a very good relationship, probably still do. I don't know why he continues with this war. This war has been so bad for him. He's going into 4 years of a war that he should have won that war in 1 week. He's now going to soon be into his 4th year.
Trump added that the Ukrainian president will visit the White House on Friday and that Kiev has asked for advanced weapons, including Tomahawk missiles, a request that Donald Trump acknowledged officials are considering, noting that the United States has a substantial stockpile. For our next story, let's just start off by showing you the latest cover of Time magazine. This is what it looks like coming up on your screen. Why are we showing it to you tonight? Because of something that US President Donald Trump has said. He seems to be extremely unhappy once again, this time over the cover photo accompanying an article about his role in brokering the Gaza ceasefire. The cover story paints a positive picture of Trump's political maneuvering, but it seems it's the photograph that has upset the leader, more specifically, the angle of that photo. As you can see, the image shows Trump from below with the sun behind him. In fact, Trump himself called it the worst of all time, adding that the angle made it look like his hair had disappeared, and to top it off, there was something that looked like a floating crown on his head. And taking it to his Truth Social account, further venting his frustration, Trump said that the picture deserved to be called out. Now, this is not the first time Trump has had things to say about Time magazine. Early this year itself, remember, the magazine featured Elon Musk at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, to which Trump reacted with a subtle flex. Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that, quote unquote. But then let's not forget, it's the same magazine that had awarded Trump a prestigious honor in the past. In the year 2016, just months after his presidential win, he was named Person of the Year. Fast forward to now, and while the magazine is praising him for his historic political comeback and reshaping the American presidency, Trump seems more concerned about how he looks on that cover. And it's certainly not the first time a political figure seems to disagree with how they have been portrayed. But with Trump, you can always count, it seems, on something rather dramatic or interesting. Whether he's brokering peace deals or battling how he's been portrayed in a magazine, he knows how to make headlines and attract attention. Trump is forever in the spotlight, even if it's not always in the angle that he likes. Shifting focus for now. Elephants are vanishing fast in India. A new census using DNA reveals alarming figures. The survey, first of its kind, showing a 25% drop in just 8 years. Our next report explaining how the numbers narrate a rather concerning picture about India's wildlife.
Roaring trunks shake the earth. The forest holds its breath. Behind the veil of green, a silent decline grips India's giants. In India, the first nationwide DNA-based census reveals a shocking truth: a 25% drop in the past 8 years. In 2017, India's wild elephant count stood at 29,964. Today, the survey pegs it at just 22,446. The distance between these figures is life and death for entire herds. However, scientists caution the two figures are not directly comparable because advanced genetic methods, not visual counts, were used this time around. During the survey conducted by India's Ministry of Environment, researchers collected over 21,000 dung samples across elephant habitats covering 6.7 lakh kilometers of forest trails. The Western Ghats remain India's largest elephant stronghold, with about 12,000 elephants, followed by northeastern hills harboring over 6,500 elephants. Globally, the situation is also dire. There are roughly 450,000 elephants left on Earth, African and Asian combined. Ancient elephants numbers only 40,000 to 50,000 of that total, and India remains their key stronghold. While poaching has declined, habitat fragmentation emerges as the primary threat. Expanding human settlements, agricultural development, industrial growth, mining operations, and infrastructure projects continually shrink elephant corridors. The findings underscore urgent conservation needs whilst demonstrating India's commitment to scientific wildlife management through advanced monitoring techniques. Bureau Report WION World is One.